Here are 7 seeds that I'm going to be starting for March so I can have an early spring crop and a head start for my summer crops. The first seed that I'm going to start is lettuce. Not all lettuces are cold hardy as some people think. I'm going to start the Rouge de Hiver lettuce. That lettuce is a super cold hardy lettuce. You could plant also the
Marvel 4 Seasons lettuce. It could grow all year round and it's very hardy.
That lettuce is a butterhead variety, whereas this Rouge de Hiver lettuce is a romaine variety. Lettuce grows in a range of 45 to 70 days. So for a spring crop, it's best to choose a lettuce closer to the earlier date. Lettuce should also be started 3 to 6 weeks before your last spring frost date. I'm going to plant all the seeds today in the 72 cell plug tray. I'm going to first fill the cells with soil. This is new potting soil that we just made. You also want to remove any big chunks, so I'm just going to do that. That's hovering on top. Okay, so we're going to make a small hole, small dimple right in the center of cells, and we're going to plant 12 lettuce, 1 to 2 per cell. The more seeds you have, the germination rate will increase, right?
And the next crop we're growing is radish. Radish has a big advantage to grow because it takes only less than a month. Radishes tends to bolt once the weather starts to get hot, which is why it's the perfect time to sow radish in March. The radishes that I'll be growing is the Cheribella radish, great for salads, and there's the traditional red radishes you will get. I'm also going to be sowing the sparkler tip white radish. I filled the pots about 2/3 of a way full because radishes can grow in this depth of soil as the roots aren't very big. I don't have to worry about thinning out these radishes because I'll be harvesting as it grows. When you are planting radish don't prefer to grow in cells because they don't like the roots getting disturbed, as it is a taproot. Because there is still snow on the ground where we live, I'll be planting them in some pots like these ones here. I just lightly watered the seeds and now I'm going to cover it back with dirt. If your ground is not frozen, you can also just direct sow them into the soil. If you live in an area where the temperature is more mild than where we live, you could direct sow in the ground. As radishes are in the brassica family, so they are somewhat hardy to some cold. You want to remove any big sticks or debris you find on the surface as it could hinder germination.
The third seed that we're going to start is tomatoes. Now you might be saying, why tomatoes this early? Because usually every year we plant tomatoes kind of late, that when June comes, where the hot months come, the tomato seeds are only so small that when they start growing big in June, they only produce a little tomatoes. So we want to have them like this big when June comes, so when the hot months,
it'll get a growth spurt and grow very big.
Since we're planting tomatoes for our early head start, for our summer crops, we can plant any tomato varieties.
We've got some Roma tomatoes.
Roma tomatoes. The smaller the seed, the less deep you have to sow it. Because smaller seeds doesn't have enough energy to get through a bunch of soil. Fourth crop. Cabbage, broccoli, cauliflower. Any one of those. They take around 80 to 100 days, so we want to start them now. They can all handle some cold, which is why it's the perfect time to start them. So we're going to plant some cabbage for us to eat, and for the chickens since they love cabbage a lot. I'm gonna put approximate 1 to 2 seeds in each cell. We can always thin them out later and put them in a different container so each of them grows separately. Another reason to plant the brassicas right now, and it is the perfect time. There's no white moths that will lay those cabbage worms that will eat your leaves. No, it's too cold for the white moths to come out now. They also grow much faster since they are under less stress. I planted my kale last year before the last spring frost date, probably a month earlier, and there were like no cabbage worms on that kale. the kale leaves grow so big and healthy. Which brings me on to the next seed. Kale is super cold hardy. I had one of my kale outside in like -10 and it didn't die. We're gonna start the dwarf curled Scotch kale.
It's very curly and it's green.
We've never grown this kale before, but we are excited to try it. So we're going to sow this kale about 1/4 inch deep since it is quite a small seed. So with these seeds here, it's really cold outside still. But inside the greenhouse during the day, when it's super sunny, it just be like 25 degrees. But at night, it just be -15. For now, we are just going to bring the seedlings in during the night and bring them in during the day to get more sunlight and a little bit more heat. The 6th seed that I'm planting is spinach. I'm planting the Bloomsdale long-standing spinach, and they are super cold hardy and can be grown in a greenhouse all winter long if you live in a warmer zone. They can also be harvested relatively quick, around 60 days. This spinach is also very heat resistant. The seeds are quite big, so we're going to sow them a little bit deeper than the tomatoes and the kale and broccoli. Last but not least is our favorite. What is it?
Bok choy.
Any Asian greens. Oh, and these are the seeds we saved from last year, September 20... No, wait. Actually from September 27, 2021. These are our bok choy that we saved.
This is the Purple Lady bok choy and our bok choy.
Which is milk bok choy or baby bok choy.
We hope that this would grow, and because it is a little old.
Asian greens are one of the fastest vegetables to grow and can be harvested in under 45 days. Just like the kale, we're going to plant it 1/4 inch deep. Now starting these seeds will slow down the growth of these plants because there's not enough sunlight still. So you could provide them with an artificial light or some cheap shop lights, which would do the job extremely well.
We're going to be planting a little more per the cells because these are older seeds and we don't know how high the germination rates are.
Okay, we got all the seeds here. Here's also another seed that you guys could start if you live in a warmer zone like zone 6 or 7 where there's not much snow and the ground is workable.
Okay.
And that is carrots. I recently heard from a gardener that to grow carrots, it doesn't depend on the air temperature, but mainly depends on the soil temperature. So if the soil is soft and workable, it's a great opportunity to get those tasty munchies directly into the ground, so you have an early crop of carrots. Spring is now just around the corner, and it's also a great time to start learning how to compost. I think you guys would like to learn about how to start a worm bin, which is a fast way that you could compost. My bin already has so many baby worms, so make sure you watch this video right over here, and we see you in that video. Bye!
Bye!